Exodus. You can visit our website, selfhelpexodus.com, to see what we do, learn about us. You can even sign up on our email list so you can get notifications on services that we provide to help you on your self-love journey, from meditation workshops to meetups. Yeah, really great stuff, really great stuff. So we are on episode 14 of Two Geminis, Two Questions, because we're both Geminis and we're both on our journeys. And so we got questions for each other to really have an organic, raw, live conversation, because we have so many good ones. So we want to capture it.
Yes.
And share it with y'all, because they're so good. They're so good and juicy.
And we love questions. We think that questions are one of the most valuable things in this world for connecting. So
seriously.
Yeah.
Like one question can open up a whole conversation. And then all of a sudden you're connecting. You're having a meaningful moment with somebody. And you're learning. You're learning about people.
Yeah.
One another. Okay.
Whose turn is it?
I know, shoot. Because we skipped last week. It was my mama's birthday.
Yeah. Well,
I think maybe you ask me something.
Okay.
What do you? I think you have a better memory.
I think so. I think
Who
I
shared
asked
first,
you.
basically?
I don't remember, honestly. So we just have to just go. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah, you came up with your question first.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so the self-love journey, right?
Yes.
It's this big thing. It can literally be something different for each person that's on the journey.
Mm-hmm.
So my question for you is, how would you sum up your self-love journey into 3 core values? What are the 3 core values of your self-love work?
Yes. Immediately the first thing that comes up in my mind is the first promise or the declaration promise that I made to myself, and it was to be my own best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge, giant value, and that reflects the beginning of my journey. Like, let me be my own friend. So about 3 important core values.
Yeah, the 3 core values of your self-love journey.
Mm-hmm. Well, kind of like my second sub promise that came up during my self-love was like having a peace of mind. Like doing things that will give me peace of mind. And this is like my go-to when I'm confused, when I feel conflicted, when I feel torn. I'm like, okay, what will give me peace of mind? That usually helps me process and then make my decision.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then the third one would be, this is coming up on the spot as I'm saying this, it's better to be right than kind. No, it's better to be kind than right. I'm dyslexic, y'all. You're like, wait, what? You've known me for so long. Like, wait, that's not. It's better to be kind than right.
So is that one more about like with others? The way that your self-love journey kind of like
totally
becomes about navigating your relationships?
Yes, because it makes me think about how I've been building bridges with my family, and that highlights it huge. Like, it's not about being right now.
Yeah.
Especially with my mom, like it's not about being right, because then I'm just being like her. She's always trying to be right. Love you, Mom. But yeah, and so it's like, it's like my self-love practice is like brings all of that up, like, hey, let me be my best friend first. Let me practice some self-love. And then it's like, okay, what will give me peace of mind? Okay. And then it leads to, that's funny how we just, it really leads, that's what I was trying to grasp, the beginning, and what else started coming up that I really honed in on in the last one. But yeah, that absolutely helped me, shift the way that I interact with my family members, because, that's how the argument started. It was always about being heard and being right. Mm-hmm. No, I'm right. You need to listen to me, blah, 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 validate me, and then you're not hearing the other person, and then a big blow up would happen all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, and so, it's basically in the same category when people talk about put your ego aside, and then just really looking what's important.
Yeah.
I'm trying to have some peace in my life.
Right.
So it's not about being right. I'd rather be kind. Yeah. And this really depends on if you're really trying to save your relationship with somebody.
Yes.
It's not going to be about you being right all the time. I need to get my last word in and all that. And that's helped my interactions with my family so much. let them be right. Okay, I'm over here working on myself. I'm good. I don't need to validate myself with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Totally.
Such a game changer.
Can we talk about the second one?
Yeah.
I like the second one a lot because generally when we're like, okay, like I want to make the choice that's going to bring the most peace, would you say that sometimes it's not the easiest choice? Like sometimes that involves like leaning into discomfort, right? In order to get to where the peace is on the other side of that.
1,000%.
Can you speak to that?
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to think here when I was like in a very yeah, it kind of involves, hold on. Like I had a moment with my mom yesterday. I noticed that I didn't have space. And so that's why I gave like a reactionary response to her. And now that there's friction, I had to go see a client and I left my mom with that tension that just happened. I'm trying to think of another example, but this is what's coming through since this just happened last night. Part of my ego, I was like feeling triggered from her response, and then I found myself feeling like how I used to feel. And so I got my voice recording and I was just like venting. And I was like, oh, wow, I feel so much pain with just this interaction that we had. Like, oh, she always wants to be right and da da da. But then, like, here I am, like, I was trying to be right too. And so the uncomfortable thing that I leaned into that I knew that would give me like more peace is being the first one to say sorry, being the first one to be like, all right, because she ain't gonna do it. Like when I came back from seeing my clients, my mom carried on like as if it didn't happen. But me knowing people, that's still stored inside that we have not resolved what just happened before. And so, through my processing in the car on the way to my client and then feeling good about that client session and coming home, I was like remembering what I had processed. And I'm like, and I've been here before. So I was like, okay, here we go again. I felt the discomfort. Like it was just kind of like maybe some awkward silence a little bit. Yeah, and then I was like, okay, Quinn, do the damn thing. You'll have peace of mind. You know that you'll be prouder for yourself once you like start this bridging the gap conversation. So I was just like, at the dish out at the sink. I was like, Mom, I'm sorry for earlier. And she's like, oh, what is it? What did you say? I was like, and in Vietnamese, I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for earlier. I would love to hear about why you preferred doing this over this. It was something regarding with my brother. Yeah, and then I just shut my mouth and I just let her talk, and then I had more space at that time to really like, okay, Quinn, it's not about being right, it's not about you inserting any input, just let her speak, because obviously she needs to release, And then it was fine. It's just kind of like no more tension. So I've been through this with my mom before, so it's really leaning into like the ego that still wants to be right. And it's like, okay, let's just do this. And then once you say it, it already feels good. Because you're already like starting like, okay, Mom, sorry. And then, I'm always playful with my mom. So even adding a little playfulness, like, I'm sorry, Mom. And in Vietnamese too, So I was like, I would love to hear, because, when I left, she was just like, you don't understand me. You always think but no, just go. I'll talk to you later. I was like, oh, great. I'll deal with this later. So yeah. Self-love is needed. I really need to be my own best friend. And then like talking it out to see like what would give me more peace with that situation, and then like implementing it with like it's not about being right. It's not about safe space. Bridge the gap. You know how to bridge the gap. You know how it feels to not be heard. Like I understand everything that she was saying, because I felt that. Who hasn't felt that way?
Yeah.
Where they're not heard and people are assuming and then you feel like judged or like not heard and understood. That's what she was saying to me. So I was like, okay, she wants to be heard. She feels like I don't understand her.
Yeah.
Which I was assuming. See, I was in assumption. So admitting that to myself as well.
I love the way that all three of those connect. Yes, I think that particularly with our relationships, I think that one of the main things that can create disharmony in our hearts and in our minds is conflict in our relationships.
Yes.
I mean, we definitely can have disharmony when we have like conflict in our financial life, or when we're feeling unsafe, like financially, that can be like a big point of conflict. But I think that the other big point of conflict is relational conflict. And it is like, and that discomfort of like leaning into like, but okay, like actually, like, where's the peace? Like, how do I get to peace in this situation? Crossing that bridge of the discomfort of having to like lay the ego down and be like, okay, actually, like, I'm here to hear you, Yeah, it's big.
Yes, huge. So if anyone is looking to repair any relationships, like, oh my God, like all those three.
Yeah,
like
all those three.
Thank you for that question. It like makes me feel so refined.
Yeah.
More refined, like boom, boom, boom. I just needed to tune in. I was like, oh, well, that was a loud one. Like being my own best friend, that was so loud for me. Still applies to this day. And then, peace of mind. Like, it's almost like what rings truth to you consistently, what's been ringing, and then it just sticks with you forever. You're
yes.
Like, I can't let this one
it's
go.
Like still relevant.
Especially
every
when
day.
You're seeing results from it, right? You're like, okay, this is what's working for me. I cannot afford to let this go in my life. Like, I already lived without it.
Yeah.
So then you live with it because it's paying off.
Yeah, and isn't it so helpful to refine the core values? Because then it's like, oh, it's just these 3 little simple things. This is what I live by. Like, this is what I'm about.
Yeah. Life-saving core beliefs to live by, not ignore, to live by and actually practice.
And we'll forget a million times, but if they're that easy to grab because you've clarified and refined them, then it's like, oh wait, how do I get myself out of this little shit storm? Let me go to my 3 core values. Yeah.
I love that. Because I know that you're creating, your stuff, and you have these, what was it, the 12, 10?
7.
7. You're fine at 7. 7 core.
I'm calling them principles.
Yeah. And so I love that. And I could just see myself, oh, well, this is Quinn for the wins.
Yes.
So thank you. It makes me kind of excited to share it, or like, thank you so much. Of course. And so we're always in sync. Like, seriously, it's so crazy with our questions.
What you got for me,
girl? It's so insane. Because, like, right when you were asking, I was like, this is so insane. Because I was reflecting about my self-love journey and just where I'm at right now. And, I've been repairing my relationships with my family. And then it made me think of peace of mind. So, and I knew that you posted about this too. You talked about something about peace, like on your Facebook or something. And I was like, oh, Hallie's going to love this too. And so you asked me that, and you're like, in particular, I like the second one. Oh, give me peace of mind. So I was like, this is just perfect because it relates to that.
Yes.
My question to you is, through your journey, what the areas that you've been growing into, and really like investing time, money, whatever you need to do to like grow these different areas of self, which ones in particular do you feel that it's helping you grow towards peace? Yeah.
Okay, I would say that right now, and there's like I think that for me, there's different points of relevancy on my journey. Like sometimes like one thing is really alive and I'm like giving that a lot of attention, and then I transition into something else. But I would say the 3 for me right now are like body investment, movement, and food. Like really prioritizing my body movement and what I'm feeding myself. And the way that I'm talking to my friend Araya, she sent me a little meme yesterday that said something like, talk to yourself like you would talk to a dog. And it's like, hey sweetheart, you're such a good girl. And then like one of the statements was, oh, you have such a beautiful belly. And I was like, I'm adopting that one.
I remember this.
well, it just happened yesterday, this particular meme, but like, so I was,
About your belly before.
yeah, totally. So I was like, I'm taking that one. And so like, even last night I was like, oh, you're such a beautiful belly.
I love this.
Just like talking to my body with love and investing in my body in loving ways. So like body investment and body love. The other one is a subtraction, like being really in meditation just now when I asked that question, like where can we bring more of our witness self into our life? Like where could we benefit from having more of an observer perspective? The thing that came up for me was like when I'm participating in behaviors that are detracting from my life force. That's when I really want to be like witnessing, all right, let's just like watch what's happening here because like I'm starting to wilt, you know? And I was like watching myself like on Facebook, right? Like that's the first image that came up, just like being on Facebook because I'm avoiding something else and like doing something better for myself, right? Like feeling myself wilt. And that's when I want my witness self to be like, all right, I'm noticing that we're wilting right now. Like, let's snap out of this trance. So I've just been doing a lot of these subtractive behaviors. I'm doing a TV cleanse right now. I'm not eating meat right now. So that's a big one for me. So there's the body love, and then like detoxing the behaviors that make me wilt.
Love it.
And then the third one is like my financial abundance awareness. So I'm in a phase right now with that where I'm not in the phase where I'm like really in the earning part of this. I'm in the like deep awareness and like really building up like my foundation of responsibility with money. And like and changing my relationship to money to where it's a relationship of like respect and honor and appreciation and gratitude, you know? So that like I'm in healthy alignment with my finances. So yeah, and I think it's interesting because I'm very relational, right? I'm very like relationship centric. A lot of the times like that's kind of like my center of gravity is like what my relationships are doing. And right now I'm just kind of like just doing a little bit more of like just self stuff, you know? And it's bringing me so much peace. Back to the peace thing. Because, you know, I have been not in peace of late, like really like not peaceful in a not peaceful state because of a relationship situation. And so that actually inspired me to bring my focus back into where I have control and to where I can actually like feel benefit. And like right now I feel so much peace. It was such a quick, once I started like really shifting the behaviors and the patterns, you know, it happened pretty fast to where like my heart had peace again. And it had nothing to do with like this person doing anything for me, you know, it just was like, no, it all had to do with like getting back into my own responsible freaking wheelhouse, you know?
Love it.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is like, okay, like I gotta take care of myself to even function. So that's like the food, fuel, and the body love.
Yeah.
You know, because your body, you need your body.
Yes.
So I see that as like a really strong foundational, and then from there you're able to grow into a space where you're observing and really like, how would I say it? It's almost like those actions just show how much you care about you and love you, because you're like, clear out all of the toxicity, like let's just really create some safe behaviors for myself, like self boundaries and safe environment. Like, you know, it's almost like myself is important, and then my environment, you know, my behaviors, and then you're able to be like, they're all growth.
They're all growth.
They're also like,
they're all very like root chakra. They're all like foundational. Like you use that word foundation. It's like the body, the money, you know, the behaviors. Those are all these like very base things, because you have to have a strong foundation to grow your life on top of.
Like, there has to be some sort of foundation built.
Yeah, and these were, if I'm just like being so candid, these were my areas of my biggest neglect.
Ugh.
I was like
Yeah.
the most neglectful of money. I was the most neglectful of my body care. Not the most, but like I just knew that I had I was like every day I felt like I'm not doing enough for my body. You know, like that was like that's I just knew, you know. So then it was like, all right, well then let's do more for the body. Let's do more because my wound is about being neglected. So then I had to really look at like where am I neglecting myself? And these were the two big areas, finances and body. So yeah, it's kind of like you take your wound, you bring it to yourself, you fill in your own gaps, and then you have peace.
Closing the gaps.
Closing the gaps.
Bridging the gaps with yourself and or others, you know, to kind of like sum up our shares. It's like peace. Peace.
Peace is the goal.
And then to function from a place of peace or continuous, because right, this is like daily work. One thing can slip and you're like, I'm in agony.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such a practice. And I love this question because we don't see it enough in our physical world. And for a self to say yes to that journey is quite
because you have to say yes every single day.
Yeah.
Again and again and again and again.
Yeah. Like I was telling you this morning, like I noticed I couldn't sleep. Well, we both expressed that we couldn't sleep last night because we didn't have body movement.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And then you don't feel like I was just like, what's it called? What's that word where it's thoughts are just going, you're just like flustered or something. You're just like, you can't be calm.
Yeah.
And then this meditation this morning, my heart was just beating. And I'm just like, yeah, as long as I needed to work out, I'm going to go on a jog later. You know? And so I love how you brought up the body. Like our bodies, ourselves, so important.
Yeah.
Like, let's start there. Well, like, you know, what like when you look at self, your different areas of self, what needs the most, what's being neglected, what needs the most love right now, and then we can grow from there. Okay?
Yeah.
And you'll see more.
And everyone has different areas where they like emphasize certain areas and neglect other areas, but it's like every single day you feel the weight of that neglect. Even if you're generally doing a pretty good job at like being a kind person and you know you'll just be like, oh, but I know that I'm not like getting enough movement in or whatever it is. I know that I've just been like eating really bad and that I haven't been eating from a place of self-love. You know?
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Our questions always connect.
They do.
It's almost like, let's continue talking about that. You really like the peace area? Well, how about yourself, Kelly? Like, where do you feel like, what's helping you grow towards peace?
I love the peace area.
Yeah,
it's my favorite.
Yeah, can that be the topic for like all things? Okay, at the end of the day, what will give you peace right now? And there could be some processing there, of course, you know. It just helps us like highlight what's really important, what's really in the way of peace. Because we just say a lot of times we see that a lot of, you know, society, the goal is to be rich. Like that is the end goal. But then we forget, oh, wait, does that bring us peace though?
Right.
Like, is that leading me to peace or is that leading me to more stress and drama and chaos? That's just an example. But,
yeah. And
you know,
sometimes like,
the conversation.
For sure. Yeah. Peace being the end goal. And there is, you know, I think we all like peace and money that those can intersect.
Yeah.
You know, but peace has to be the destination.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Right? Because we all need some money. We also need some sort of financial support to, well, because we live in America. And
yes.
How it is
we're humans
elsewhere.
on a, this is what we do. We do money in this human existence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love these shares.
Yay. Cool. Thanks for tuning in to our show.
Hi, Carol.
Oh, hey, girl. Hey.
We see Olivia here too, and Helen from London Bridge. I don't know if you're still on. Andrea. Hi, everybody. Yeah, for sure share thoughts or anything. That's our show. Rudy was on too. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so lovely. All right, everybody. We have meditations every Saturday if you want to tune into some self-love work. We also have self-love at the park. Sign up. Check out our website for that. It's going to be on the 14th. It is in Sacramento, unless it's raining or something. Then we'll go virtual. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, anytime. We're here every Saturday at 11 doing these lives. And then what else? Yeah, and then our workshop is once a month. That's coming up too. It's all on our website. Go to our website. So, yeah. Okay, anything else you want to share?
No.
Okay. We will see you all next week.
Bye,
Thank
friends.
you. Bye.